but the harvest carts often came to the Jenny Lynn. Then we have a ridden Clydesdale following on behind that.
See the way the horse walk by.
Now we last saw the heavy horses working on the farms probably back in the 1960s, when the last of them were ousted by tractors and modern farm machinery. But up until then, the Clydesdale horse, the breed was developed, as the name suggests, in the Clyde Valley, and they really
Look at the horse
became
neck.
the prime mover on Scottish farms, and right down into England. The Northumberland area had probably more Clydesdales than Shire horses, which was the English heavy horse. But the Clydesdale was probably a better horse than the Shire. The Shire tended to be a little bit heavier. The Clydesdale probably put more power on the ground per pound of weight. And this one is pulling the harvest cart, which would be used to bring in sheaves from the cereal fields after they were bindered.
The tail is funny.
Sheaves would ripen in the stook and be loaded onto his harvest carts, and a great trail of them would be walked back from the field into the stack yard, where all the crop was built into round stacks to wait until they were all thrashed out in the winter months. And these horses probably worked from the late 1700s right through to the 1960s. They provided the power. There was cases of teams of oxen still being used during that period, and of course steam engines came into play in the 1840s, but really the heavy horse was the main motive power source until tractors started to arrive around about the First World War, when the numbers of tractors started to come into the country. And ever since the First World War, when so many horses were requisitioned by the army for use in the pulling supplies to the front, and they were taken across the channel in huge numbers. A great many never came home, whether they sadly were killed in action, or whether they were just unfit to come back, or the just economics of it meant that they didn't come home. And the horse was in decline ever since then, until they virtually died out in the 1960s. The odd horse was kept on many farms just for odd jobs, for cleaning potato crops and turnip crops, and just odd carting jobs. But ever since then, the Clydesdale horse had gone into decline. But then, probably in the 1970s, a new breed of enthusiasts would come along, and they would breed horses, they would show horses, and they would use horses for play. They would use them for ploughing matches or going to shows with their implements and carts behind them. And that continued, and these enthusiasts sadly started to die out. And then in the last 20 years we've had a new range of enthusiasts come along to take the Clydesdale breed on further. And we now have Clydesdales being used for